إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله عز وجل، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. ثم أما بعد. Indeed, we begin by praising Allah Azza wa Jal. We praise Allah and we thank Allah for His countless blessings that He has placed in and around our lives. We praise Allah and we thank Allah for every harm that He has avoided from touching us. And we turn to Allah in tawbah. We turn to Allah seeking His reward and fearing His punishment. Whomever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides to this religion of truth, to this beautiful statement of La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, this individual is guided. And no one can mislead such an individual except Allah and Allah alone. And whomever Allah, may He be glorified, allows to go astray, whomever Allah allows to become a victim of his desires, to become a victim of the whispers of the shaitan, then indeed there is no guidance for this individual, and there is nothing that you or I can do for them except supplicate to Allah, may He be glorified, that He guides this individual, that He guides our relatives, that He guides our neighbors, for indeed the guidance is in the hands of Allah and Allah alone. O you who believe, fear Allah in the matters in which He should be feared, and that is in every single matter. And do not die except in full and complete submission in Islam. For were you to be raised up on the day of judgment, believing in a God other than Allah, or with Allah, believing in a prophet after Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, or believing in a book after the Quran, then indeed you will be from among the losers on that day, and woe to the losers on that day, for they will never ever win again. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He envelop us in His mercy, and that He protect us from His punishment and His anger. Indeed, the best of speech is the book of Allah, Al-Quran, and the best of guidance is the guidance of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the most evil of affairs in our religion are the newly invented matters. Every newly invented matter in our religion is a going astray. And all of it leads nowhere except to Allah's displeasure, and will be thrown into the fire of Jahannam. Again, we ask Allah to protect us from His punishment and His anger. Ameen. My dear brothers and sisters, I just want to make a reminder before we begin the khutbah, because it seems that everywhere I go, I am encouraged to make this reminder, and it weighs on me because I feel that the khutbah should be a time in which I try and motivate you and myself, and to speak and to share some of these precious moments to teach you or to tell you or to remind you about the etiquettes of the masjid feels like a waste to me. For I have only 30 minutes to give you something that will carry you through the next week. And each and every one of us are going through different things, but somehow I must come up with a lecture for you that will touch each and every person and will give them something to help them to make it through the next Friday and the next Friday and the next Friday. But the reminder benefits the believer nonetheless. On the authority of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he said that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, إِذَا قُلْتَ لِصَاحِبِكَ أَنْصِتْ يوم الجمعة والإمام يخطب فقد لغوت. Abu Hurairah, he said that the Prophet ﷺ said, if you say to your companion, if you say to the person who's sitting on your left or your right or behind you or in front of you, unsit, be quiet, shh, don't talk. On the day of Jumu'ah, which is today, while the Imam is giving the khutbah, which is what I am doing, فَقَدْ لَغَوْتَ, then you have committed a laghu, false speech, idle speech. You have committed a sin for talking during this half an hour. As I remind you, and I would like to remind myself, that this gathering is only a half an hour. And indeed, I'm sure that we can be quiet to listen to the khutbah for the half an hour that we are here, hoping and praying that Allah accept this Jumu'ah from us and that we may be forgiven for the mistakes that we have made in the previous week. In another narration, Abu Hurairah, he mentions in another hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said, "Man massal hasa faqad lagha," that whoever touches the stones or the pebbles, then he has committed a laghu as well. And although we don't have pebbles in this masjid, but there are some of you who play with the carpet during the khutbah. There are some of you who play with their beard and manage their split ends during the khutbah. There are some of you that are playing with the phone during the khutbah. By doing that, you are losing a great reward. You are present. And inshallah, the malaika have written your name down that you came for this day. But the ajr and the reward, and what is the reward? From one Jumu'ah to the next Jumu'ah. If you attended, Allah will forgive every mistake that you made in the week, plus 3 days. This is the reward. This is why you're here. This is why I'm here. We're not here to see each other, to greet each other, to laugh and to tell jokes. We're here seeking Allah's forgiveness. We are here seeking Allah's reward. And this behavior is not only found here, but it was found during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, coming into the masjid on a Jumu'ah and speaking, or yarning extremely loud, or someone must make one noise during these 30 minutes. But we demand from our children, our young children, be quiet, don't speak, shh, don't talk. And yet we are unable to show that ourselves. We are unable to show that discipline ourselves. Ubay bin Ka'ab, radiallahu anhu, he mentions for us an incident which took place during the lifetime of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in which he said Abu Darda came into the masjid, was sitting down, we are all sitting waiting for the Jumu'ah. And the Imam Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was giving his khutbah, was giving his reminder. And in that reminder he began to recite Tabarak alladhi biyadihi al-mulk, this surah. So Abu Darda, he turns to his companion Ubay and he says, "Ya Ubay, when was this surah revealed?" Is that not good? Seeking knowledge is good, right? But not in this hour. Not in this 30 minutes. That's good. But not in this 30 minutes. There is no talking in this 30 minutes. There is no touching anything in this 30 minutes. You give this for Allah's sake so that Allah may forgive you. Did Ubay respond to him? Ubay ibn Ka'ab said nothing to him. So Abu Darda, thinking that Ubay didn't hear him, he said, "Ya Ubay, this is the first time I'm hearing the surah. When was it revealed?" Ubay says nothing to him. The third time, Abu Darda, "Ya Ubay," maybe he gave him an elbow at this time. "When was the surah revealed?" Ubay said nothing until the conclusion of the salah. He didn't even speak to him before the prayer. He spoke to him at the conclusion of the salah. So even after the khutbah is over and we are standing for prayer, no talking, no talking. And he turned to Abu Darda and he said, لَيْسَ لَكَ مِنْ صَلَاتِكَ الْيَوْمَ إِلَّا مَا لَغَوْتَ. You earned nothing today from your prayer except the laghu that came out of your mouth. That's fighting words for us, me and you. Someone comes to you, you come here, and he says, "Oh, I saw you touching your phone. You gained nothing this day, akhi. You lost today." there would be a fighting match inside of the masjid or in front of the masjid. And so Abu Darda, when he heard these words, it struck him, because he came seeking what you and I are seeking, Allah's forgiveness. He came seeking more than speech. The speech he could have done at home, in the park, at work. He's done it all week. He didn't come to earn this level. He came to earn Allah's favor. And so he goes to the Prophet ﷺ and he tells him what Ubay said. فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم صدق أبي. Ubay told you the truth. You earned nothing today but your speech. So my dear brothers and sisters, I am reminding you as well as reminding myself, for I am not always speaking. There are times when I go to sit and listen to the khutbah as well. Do not talk during this half an hour. Do not be preoccupied with your clothing and the lint and the fabric and whatever, the phone, whatever. Just pay your attention, give your attention to the Imam. And I am making an intention that every time I give the khutbah for maybe the next 6 months, I'm going to open with the same hadith, not because I forgot, not because I've lost my marbles, but to remind again and again and again and again until inshallah we have it, until we come for the salah and everyone in here knows what is expected of them. Amma ba'du, to begin, I wanted to share with you a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this hadith, there's a specific reason why I am choosing this hadith in particular to explain. For my intention in coming and preparing for this day was to talk about unity and those things that barriers and those things that hinder us from coming and uniting as an ummah. But then, unfortunately, we had the attack that occurred in Manhattan, and I thought, well, let me not speak about barriers to unity, let me speak about this act of terrorism, and let me give a khutbah about this and its impermissibility, and indeed we reject the actions of this individual who claims to be a Muslim. But then, as Allah would decree, I received a phone call yesterday from a counselor who is within my organization, and Nafs al-Wahida, and she told me something disturbing, and so I said, that's it. I'm going to give the khutbah on this today. On the authority of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he mentions that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, ثلاثة لا يكلمهم الله يوم القيامة. There are three people Allah will not talk to on the day of judgment. وَلَا يُزَكِّيهِمْ. And Allah will not purify these people on the day of judgment. وَلَا يَنْظُرُ إِلَيْهِمْ. And Allah will not even look at them on the day of judgment. Allah will not speak to them. Allah will not purify them. Allah will not look at them. And the only thing that they will earn, the only thing that they will gain, وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ. And for these three individuals, these three types of people, it's a painful punishment. It's a painful punishment. So I hope I have everyone's attention, because we don't want to be from among these three individuals. The first one, Shaykhun Zanin. The Shaykh, the old man, the man who has some age, the man who has some miles, he's not young. The Shaykh who commits zina. Allah will not talk to them. لا يكلمهم الله ولا يزكيهم ولا ينظر إليهم. The Shaykh who commits the zina. The second, وَمَلِكٌ كَذَّابٌ. And the king who is a liar. The leader who lies. And the last one, وَعَائِلٌ مُسْتَكْبِرٌ. And the poor person who is proud and arrogant. My dear brothers and sisters, these three individuals, we ask Allah to protect us from being from amongst them. And if we are amongst them, we turn to Allah and ask Him that He forgive us and that we turn a new page in our life and remove these qualities from ourselves. Why is it that on the day of judgment Allah will not speak to these individuals? Why is it that on the day of judgment Allah will not purify these individuals? Why is it that on the day of judgment Allah will not even look at these individuals, my dear brothers and sisters. Let's take them one by one. Starting with the last. A'ilun mustakbirun, the poor person who is arrogant. If you look at these three types of people, you find one thing ties them together. Who they are, whether they are poor, or whether they are kings, or whether they are older, the behaviors that they have should not be attached to them because of their age, because of their authority, because of their status. The poor person should be humble because poverty, even though he may have been rich before, or maybe he was born into poverty, poverty should have a humbling effect on us. That we no longer look at people according to ranks or status or what they have or nationalities or origins. Because you are poor, you have nothing. You are struggling to take care of yourself. You are struggling to take care of your family and put food on the table. How dare you be busy with status and these kind of things, and it is so far away from you. But yet you find that there are people who are poor and arrogant, who are poor and think they're better than the other individual. They are poor, but they are better because of their language or etiquette or lineage or whatever they think. And these two things should not come together. I am not saying that a poor person is to be low and to beg. No, a poor person is to have dignity. But there is a difference between having dignity and being proud. Dignity means that although you are poor, you don't go into the haram to enrich yourself. You have dignity as a poor person. Dignity means that although you are poor, you are willing to work as hard as the Prophet ﷺ said. It is better for you to go into the woods and to chop wood and to bring it and to sell it as firewood than to go around begging the people. It is better that you chop wood to sell as firewood than to go around begging the people. A poor individual, he should have dignity, yes. But pride, istakbirun, kibr, arrogance, no way. No way, these two things do not connect. For indeed the poor person, from among their virtues, is that they were the first to believe in the prophets and anbiya when they came with their message because of their poverty. Their poverty made them humble, so they were able to hear the message. When Nuh alayhi salam came, and he gave his message calling the people, the person who was poor had no wealth. He had no property. He was able to give an ear to this revelation. But who fought all of the Anbiya throughout history? Those with position and authority and power. Those who have something to lose. Those who are in a position over others. And so they feared this. And they told Noah alayhi salam, as they told Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we are ready to accept Islam, just drive out these poor people. And Noah, he said as well as Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, I am not driving anyone out. I will not drive anyone out of this religion if they believe in Allah and His Messenger. My dear brothers and sisters, the poor individual, as has been informed to us by Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, on the day of judgment, on Yawm al-Qiyamah, they will enter into the gates of heaven a half day before the rich. And the half day means 500 years before the rich enter into paradise. The poor people will be knocking on the gates of paradise. And when the malaika asks them, what are you here for? The judgment is still going on. The judgment is still going on. 500 more years left. What are you doing here? The poor person will say, what will I be asked about? I had no property. I had no wealth. I couldn't be proud over anyone. I was struggling to eat. I was fleeing persecution. I was on a boat going through the Atlantic trying to get to Europe. I had nothing. I'm fleeing from Burma. I had nothing but my clothes, and not even that. What will Allah ask me? And so they will be admitted into the paradise. A person who is proud, a person who is poor, should never possess this character of pride and arrogance. For if they possess that, لا يكلمهم الله, Allah will not speak to them on the day of judgment. ولا يزكيهم, Allah will not purify them on the day of judgment. ولا ينظر إليهم, and Allah will not even look at them. The second individual, Malikun Kadhabun, the lying king, not the movie. Oh people, some of you may be saying, the king who is a liar, we only have a few kings in the world, but no. In this context, the king who is a liar is equal to the CEO who is a liar, to the Imam who is a liar, to the boss who is a liar, to the director who is a liar, to the principal who is a liar, to the man of his household or the woman of her household who is lying. It is not just mulk, it is not just being a king in the title in and of itself, but it is mulk in having authority. For the husband or the wife, she has authority in her home. No one can challenge her. Her children cannot set limits and tell her or tell her father or tell their father what we're going to eat today and what clothes I'm going to buy, although we find these things happening. A child cannot tell his parent that he's choosing to do homework and not do homework. He's going to tell his parent when he comes home, he's going to set the rules in his house. No. Just like you and I, some of us may work for a boss or work for a company. Our CEO, the director, whatever title you gives him, he is the authority figure. He is the one who hires. He is the one who fires. He is the one who pays and employs, and he is the one who takes that away. He is the one who grants bonuses, and he is the one who disciplines based on our performance or lack of it. And as we know, and we are all familiar with the real kings of the world, the kings, the presidents of the world, they are the ultimate authority. Why will Allah not look at them and not talk to them and not purify them? Because when you have authority, when you are in a position of authority and you have the highest position in your house or on your job or as an elected official or whatever, how low and how base is it for you to still have to lie? Who will challenge you? Why should a king or a ruler lie to the people or lie to his court when there is no one who can challenge him in authority? Why lie? When you are the ultimate authority, lying are for those who are weak. Lying are for those who are afraid. And who should you be afraid of amongst the people? But you find the kings of the world, the presidents, the rulers, you find CEOs and big executives lying and lying and lying and lying. It is understandable, not acceptable, that an employee, maybe you or I, who go off our work location, when we are caught, the boss, the supervisor says, "What are you doing here?" You begin to lie. It's understandable, not acceptable. Because truth is better than falsehood. But it is understandable why you're lying. You don't want to be punished. You don't want to lose pay. You don't want to be suspended. It is understandable. But a big CEO, a big exec, lying to the people when he has authority, when no one can challenge him, these two things do not go together, and it is detestable in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that a person who has been given authority in his house or in the land, that he should go and act as if he is one of those who are weak and use lies to get things done in his life or in his household. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to increase us in sidq, in truthfulness. And last but not least, Shaykhun Zani, the old man who is committing the zina. We ask Allah to protect this ummah. My dear brothers and sisters, a young individual, a young boy, it is understandable, not acceptable, but it is understandable that a young boy, he lusts after what he sees. He has no experience. He just hears what his friends tell him. He sees the images on television. He sees it as he's scrolling. He sees it in the summertime, and even in the wintertime, the women are still wearing the tight leggings. It's all year round. So it is understandable that his eye wanders. It is understandable that maybe he can fall into something, and we ask Allah to protect all of our young people from zina. But it is not acceptable. Even during the lifetime of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, once he was upon his animal and Ali bin Abi Talib was with him, and a woman passed, and Ali turned in front of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ali is young, and the messenger turns his face, and Ali turns again to look in front of the Rasul. And the messenger does not yell and scream and says, I am the messenger of Allah, how dare you do this in front of me? Rather, he turns his face and he says, yeah, Ali, the first look is for you. The second one is shaitan. Okay? It's understandable. Not acceptable, but understandable. But the sheikh, the old man who has experience, who comes to realize that all of them are the same, all of the women are the same, and the women as well, all of the men are the same. When you have experience and you have been married, maybe once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times, you have experience in this area. You have a trained mind now. You understand the game. You understand that the thrills are short-lived. And yet you still turn to this low act and behavior to fall into zina when Allah has given you the ability to marry 2 or 3 or 4. Allah will not speak to these people on the day of judgment. Allah will not purify these people on the day of judgment. Allah will not even look at these people on the day of judgment. وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمًا. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. Alhamdulillah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. My dear brothers and sisters, now to the point. Why did I choose this hadith? Because a brother approached me. I won't say what his name is, I won't say who he is or where he's from. I won't say what masjid it was in. But the brother approached me and he came to me with a soft heart, as I thought. He came to me near to tears, as I thought, and said that he needed help and that he has gone everywhere and he is in need of help and in need of assistance. And what other characteristics does the believer have that when his brother is in need, he tries to assist him? And he said that he was in need of a counselor, not for himself, but for a relative. For a relative. And so I said, I have an organization, Nafs Wahida, and we recently hired a counselor, a sister. She is old in age, almost 60, but she has experience. 25 years as a marital counselor, 25 years as a drug counselor, 25 years as a substance abuse counselor. I will put you in contact with her, give you her email, her number, and inshallah she can help you. Because although I'm the Imam, and I'm able to say, Qala Allah wa Qala Rasul, I'm not a therapist. I am not a counselor. From the wisdom and the hikmah of people is to know their place, is to know their limits. But you find people are doctors and they're every one thing, they're everything in one. But I know my limits. You told me a problem that is beyond what I can help you with, so let me turn you direction to this individual. And the person who came to me is old in age too, shaykhun. Maybe close to 60. And so I made the connection. And I received a phone call yesterday, a text message, can you call me? I spoke to Fulan. I said, inshallah, I'll call you. So I called the sister, and she said, yes, I spoke to the brother, and you know, he has problems and this and that. But in our first conversation, it immediately went to an intimate level. I said, astaghfirullah, what are you talking about? He began to tell me that my voice sounds sexy. And then he asked if I could send him pictures. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Ghafara Allahu lana wa lahu. Ghafara Allahu lana wa lahu. May Allah forgive him and may Allah forgive us. In the first conversation with someone who's within my organization, you think the news wouldn't get back to me? I wouldn't hear it? And what kind of dummy would I be to know about this and not mention it? Don't you fear Allah in your private space? But this is a problem that we have in the ummah today. That the people, they have no haya even in their sins. We all make sins. We all mistakes. We all make mistakes. We have all maybe said something to a female in the wrong way. But I would expect for you to do that in your private time. I would expect for you to do that in another country where nobody knows you, in another town where nobody knows you, and in a job where no one can see you. But you do this after coming to me for help? You have no shame. You are so low that you let your desires take over you, knowing that there was a 99.9% chance it would come back to me. And if you are willing to do that with the person that I connected you with, the Imam, then what are you doing in your free time? Allahu Musta'an. We seek Allah's assistance. My dear brothers and sisters, I want to remind you that we must fear Allah in all of our affairs. And no one is perfect, but we must have some shyness in the way we go about our sins. We must strive and try our best to hide our faults, and we are all guilty of something, each and every one, even the person speaking in front of you. But we must strive our best to hide our faults. For indeed, those sins that we commit that has been kept hidden from the people, Allah will keep them hidden on the day of judgment. The slave will stand before his Lord and look at his book and say, there are things in here that I have done, I don't see it. And Allah said, I kept it hidden from the people in the dunya. You didn't tell anyone, you didn't reveal it. And so I will not embarrass you on this day of judgment. I will keep it hidden. My dear brothers and sisters, we need to step our game up. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, اتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام. And fear Allah, the one whom you demand your rights. إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ عَلَيْكُمْ رَقِيبًا. Indeed, Allah is an ever watcher over you. Raqiba, Allah, He sees you. He is ever present. He is ever looking. He is ever waiting. He knows all that you are thinking. He knows all that you are doing. You cannot escape Allah's eye. But since, my dear brothers and sisters, some of you won't fear Allah in public, then I'm making an announcement today that you're going to have to fear me. And what I mean by that is, the next time I recommend someone, whether male or female, and I receive news of this low behavior, this insult, this smack to her face, and this double smack to my face, I will get on the mimbar and I will name names. And I will call you by your kunya, and I will call you by your laqab. I will name names. If you won't fear Allah, then you're going to fear me. Don't embarrass yourself and don't embarrass me. We are offering services. We are trying every day. We all have our vices. We all have our mistakes and shortcomings. But we are trying to do better and better every day. Don't allow yourselves and your desires to take the better of you and to commit such evil speech and acts so open in front of the people. Turn to Allah in tawbah and Allah will forgive you. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us for our sins. We ask Allah to forgive the brother for his mistake. As we said, غَفَرَ اللَّهُ لَهُ وَلَنَا. Allahumma ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا إننا آمنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وقنا عذاب النار. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. وأقم الصلاة بذكر الله.